en route sort of reading, compelled to do it today. I'm going to do some, see what again is more positive that's coming in. Right now, it looks like this relationship is kind of going through some kind of a challenge of sorts. And again, it doesn't have to be a love relationship, can certainly be somebody that's just very significant in your life where there is some challenges, but there is a little bit of hope in this reading here. And of course, that's not the energy currently, but it is something that you're working toward. So we'll just kind of get right into it. So of course, I would say with the Two of Cups, again, this is more of a significant relationship here. We do have significator down here as sort of the main energy next to the Seven of Cups, and that is still indicating that there is a lot of choices or options and directions that this whole scenario could go. So, I mean, even if you're not really seeing the positives in the situation, I would say still be on the lookout for the way in which something might turn around for you. It's just not, there's no real specific information yet that is coming through, other than there is definitely some hope in this situation, but there is definitely some levels of disappointment to sort of struggle through. With the Seven of Cups, I mean, this is, a place of contemplation. It definitely is that place of sort of regenerating in some way here. And again, of course, this is all in around the significators. So I would say with the Seven of Cups, this is you kind of in a place where you're having to reflect and try to figure out the resolution that you want. So I think at this point, that is what your focus is on. I don't know that there is any specific option that you've chosen yet. I think that's yet to be revealed because we've got a lot of cards of be patient, slow it down. Temperance is that card of trying to figure things out and heal, some of the scenario before you can really make a choice or move in a particular direction. So it is also a card of restraint and using some self, control and moderation in a situation. But again, because it is so close here next to the Seven of Cups, I feel like there's some really scattered, confusing energy around you at this time. And certainly with that significator energy, I mean, that does still indicate that there is some direct focus on you trying to figure out your options right now. And I feel like that is not maybe clear to you yet. And that's where the confusion is, what your direction would be or should be. You're just not in any place to kind of work through that energy just yet. So we're going to move right on over to the sort of the beginning cards here. And again, starting with the Two of Cups, it does revolve around a relationship or again, a significant connection to you. So it doesn't have to be a love relationship, but it definitely speaks to some kind of scenario here where there's something at play where you have to deal with a lot of, I would say there's toxic energy here. This can even be a certain level of domination, but mostly what I'm seeing right now here, because the energy is more around criticism. This could also be a level of self-criticism, but there's a lot of criticism in this particular area around around a relationship. So again, with the Two of Cups, I mean, that is starting out as more of a positive connection, but again, it's right next to the King of Batons. So, I mean, there's a lot of areas here that need to have some work and some development yet. So, okay, so back to, whatever this connection is, there is certainly a level of, if it's a loving connection, it's more of an attraction. If it's, not specifically a love connection, then I would say that this is a connection that has a lot of qualities that sort of maybe mirror each other, or a lot of things that, a lot of things where unfortunately it's almost like the negatives are the factors that are highlighted. So maybe it's the negatives in a particular person that's also being mirrored in another person. So in other words, if somebody's quite stubborn, this is also being mirrored in the other person, where the other person is also quite stubborn. It feels like there's a lot of this otherwise would be an attractive kind of connection, where there's a lot of good, sympathetic, symbiotic kind of qualities. But right now, the energy is surrounding the devil, so it does feel as though all of that is compromised right now. So whatever the levels of attraction or levels of connection there would be in a positive way. Right now, you're on the other spectrum of that. So the devil energy indicates that there's a lot of toxicity, there's a lot of over emotion, especially when, and a lot of criticism, a lot of harsh words. We're still with the Eight of Swords as well as that King of Batons. It just feels like there's still a lot of a battle. And again, if this isn't your read, this is a general. This may be more specific to some than others. And your timelines are all very different, like I said. So, but I just feel like there is some major force that is kind of unavoidable at this time with that energy of the devil. And of course, I'll break it down a little bit more, but like I said, it just feels like there's a lot here that's still to unfold. When I see the King of Batons, I mean, this is dealing with somebody who's more of a mature energy and certainly could be somebody in, you know, a position of higher authority. But again, and maybe this is the person who is, you know, being intolerant, or maybe somebody else is intolerant of this person here, given the Eight of Swords as the following card. So this is, you know, again, self-blame. This is critical, sort of being in a difficult position, but it's critical kind of disapproval of a person, I would say, with that King of Batons. And again, this could very well be, you know, whether this is you or another person being critical of you. There is a situation here where, you know, there's still some healing yet to do, but it's going to take a lot of time, I would say, before this really unravels. Like I said, the King of Batons is still a mature energy, and it definitely speaks to somebody who can be quite skilled in a situation. But I feel like that you don't have the upper hand right at this moment here to be able to maybe practically see a solution here and to provide a level of skill at this moment anyway. We also have the Six of Batons. So again, there's a lot of energy here around battle. A lot of energy around almost conquering sort of feel here. I would say that, you know, somebody may very well be in a position where they want to win a scenario here, you know, and it's almost like somebody is the, you know, the more mature person next to, you know, someone who is less mature, something along that line, because this is kind of there's a degree of imbalance between this position versus this. So if this is a work situation, this is somebody who would be, you know, more of the employee, that kind of thing, but it's still kind of laying the groundwork yet in around a child, I would say, for some. Again, if that doesn't speak to you specifically, there is still energy that speaks to you know, there being a lot of resistance in around a younger person or in around a work situation. And what's coming through here, though, and even though the energy is still one of kind of battling here with that Six of Batons, you know, there is still hope in that situation to sort of manage that, because the Six is still a very positive card. And again, of course, further out with the Sun, this is something that will be coming in further out, but it's not really in that place at this point. This is still a card of joy and, you know, harmony and peace, and you're moving possibly in this direction because it's, you know, it's close to a success card with a Chariot, but right now the energies are all more along the lines of kind of conquering a situation, or somebody's trying to get maybe the upper hand in a situation to go forward in a particular direction, but that direction is somehow a bit of a letdown. You're disappointed in the situation. You're disappointed in the way something is you know, is moving forward. So this is a little bit of this is a defeatist kind of position here with the Cups. It's a letdown scenario here with that Chariot. I would say even with the Temperance, you know, there is a call for, you know, trying to maintain some level of balance in a situation. You know, again, it's self-restraint, but it still feels like it's kind of a bad combination when you have that next to the Chariot. It feels like there's a complete imbalance. You go from aggression to, or domination, or something that's a lot more victory oriented, to, you know, somebody who's also in the reverse of that, kind of that position of more of a passive stance. So this could be you playing it out with someone else. Could be a water sign that's very significant here with the King of Cups. Definitely there is a strong sense of, with the King of Cups, it can be Cancer energy here that's coming through as well, but Like I say, I mean, it definitely feels like water sign sort of oriented. And it almost feels like somebody is taking the position of, of this King of Cups. So, like, it's like there's more than maybe one player here. There could even be three people involved, but the King of Cups is, still that energy further out. It's not in your sphere just yet. There's a residual of that energy, but it's not really playing out entirely yet. So, as I said, still dealing with a mature energy here. Definitely could be somebody who is blonde in, as the cards depict, lighter haired, that kind of thing. But either way, it is still trying to balance out anybody who is trying to um, kind of, that you're disappointed in, where things have maybe seemed insincere. There's been a certain level of dishonesty or something along that line. Or there's also a certain level of confusion around this whole dynamic entirely. So we'll get kind of further into this as well. And I've also got a few other cards that I pulled from the Archangel Power. Anyway, Power Tarot, but we'll start with this here first. So again, we'll go into that Two of Cups, sort of flesh it out a little bit more. Twos usually are a card of balance here for sure. Definitely speaks to things needing to, there's a period of waiting. Again, as I said, because with that Temperance, there's some kind of a delay or something that has yet to sort of, show itself for you to, enable for you to kind of see through the trees to be able to balance things out. You don't really see your options right now. That Two of Cups, like I said, is still a duality in a partnership of some sort. I feel like you still have some hope in a situation, but there's a lot yet to kind of be worked through in this scenario. The Two of Cups, as I say, is, even if we're talking about health and that kind of thing, overall health could be, looking to be a little bit challenged, because normally on its own, the Two of Cups is a card of showing some kind of improvement. But I feel with the Devil as the clarifier that there is some challenge around the smoothness of a partnership, or which may be causing some level of, a certain level of distress or angst in some way here. But either way, I don't feel like you're clear on how you want to move forward just yet. As I said, I mean, this could be, certainly for some of you, this is, if it's a relationship that is one of attraction, it would be a strong attraction, but there's also some relevancy here to summertime that might be coming up here for some of you. That'll mean something. But again, it's still being very connected to someone in a very challenging way. So you're very strongly connected, but it's like the areas that are being connected or that are being mirrored are the negative sides of both of you. So, and I don't mean that you're, different in the way that you're negative. I mean that it's almost like you're two peas of the same pod or something along that line, where you actually have a certain level of, if somebody's quite stubborn, you're also quite stubborn. It's like there's a bit of a gridlock here. And that's the type of attraction right now. So there's nothing that's kind of in the positive just yet that would create more emotional balance. I don't feel like there's an appreciation for one another at this time, especially too because we have so many cards here that are kind of in around, balance. So there's definitely, or imbalance rather. There's definitely some level of dispute for sure, I would say. And it definitely feels like there is going to be, something that has to kind of take place before there's any kind of unity. King of, like I said, there is somebody with the King of Batons. I mean, this is like a King of Wands, basically. So this is still in that realm of, somebody who could be quite charismatic otherwise, but in the reverse of that, of course, there is a lot of behavior that is more along the lines of dramatic. There's a lot of drama in this reading for whoever this resonates for. So again, somebody who appears quite confident, but with the Eight of Swords, it feels like that confidence level is being challenged with the Eight of Swords. So I feel like there's some strong words that are taking place. Like I said, not a good card for not a good card, because it feels, you feel confined by this relationship. You feel, that you're controlled in some way. I would even venture to say with the Eight of Swords, you're kind of bound to this person. This is somebody I feel like there's been a long-term connection with, something like that. Whether this king is father, uncle, older brother, whatever, somebody here that you know, or even yourself, it feels like it is still in a situation where there's a lot of tempers flaring anyway. Somebody wants to take the lead, somebody wants to be more powerful than the other one, but the other person is really confined by this situation, not able to go forward. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius might also be coming into play here, but there's a lot of boundaries around this situation, a lot of mental anguish, a lot of stress that is coming through with this. So I don't feel like you have a lot of self-expression in this scenario. I don't feel like you're able to kind of master your mind just yet, even though there is hope further out. But a lot of the cards still feel like back and forth kind of energy. Um, I would say that, you know, it's not stability in your passions for sure. Like I say, I primarily focused on a relationship here. So, I mean, if you want to venture it into, you know, the direction of a passion project, certainly that could be part of it too. But I did focus more so on you know, on a relationship. And there is definitely some level of, you know, having to be very self-reliant and not feel, you know, and feeling as though you don't really have the support in a situation. I mean, the Six of Batons or Six of Wands really is a card where it does indicate you could, because that would normally be a card of balance, and there is sort of some kind of equilibrium there. And it can even be, you know, like a triumph over a situation. And that might be the situation that's coming in here eventually, like I said, because that Sun card is still the ultimate player. But again, it's a further out, it's not the major arcana. The ones that I see for major arcana, of course, are the Chariot and the Temperance, but the other players, of course, that are sort of the main cards again would be the King of Batons, King of Wands. So I feel like it's a relationship of where there's a lot of imbalance in terms of age, as well as with how things are being dealt with. But either way, let's just kind of get right back into that Six of Wands. So like I say, Six of Wands is still that card where, you know, you're trying to, it's almost like somebody is trying to uh rival you, or you know what I mean, or if somebody else is you're rivaling someone else. I don't know exactly on that one, but it feels like there's somebody wants victory in a situation. It could be a younger person here in a scenario. There could be a scenario where somebody is, you know, trying to move off in a different direction, and the other person may be quite saddened by this, you know, this movement. But either way, normally the Six of Wands is still a card, and of course with, you know, coupled next to the Sun, it's almost like there's a certain level of warmth or passion that sort of exists. Again, it doesn't have to be passion, you know, in terms of like a hot relationship. It could be just something that's more along the lines of a significant relationship where there's a lot of connection otherwise, that, you know, a lot of similarities that could be relevant here, but somehow it's kind of turned in a different direction. There's something that's in the way. Could be levels of toxicity. Maybe there is drinking or something, or maybe there is some level of strong anger or something, frustration, that kind of thing that's coming through here. But, you know, you're still rising to the challenge in this situation. You know, there's a lot of ambition, a lot of drive in this particular period for you. And again, I mean, it's almost like somebody's trying very strongly to assert themselves and assert their willpower, that kind of thing. There is certainly some kind of new venture here. You know, somebody's moving in a certain direction, because this is a card of where a decision needs to be made, but you're meeting the challenge, you know, and that is some kind of trump, like it's a triumph over some kind of situation. There is some situation of, you know, believing in yourself, or somebody striking it out on their own, that kind of thing. And it definitely still feels like it's still a positive phase, even though I'm seeing some very challenging cards. I feel like you might have been, you know, a little caught off guard maybe, or somebody is a little caught off guard by a certain, because the Four of Cups to me is, I mean, it can be a missed opportunity, that kind of thing, but it's certainly a little bit of a level of disappointment, and not really, you know, seeing something, you know, move in the direction that they had hoped. And that's where that Chariot comes in. So, I mean, fours are all about still trying to establish some level of balance, even though I'm seeing a lot of, you know, trying to regain balance. But the four is still a card of a foundation being worked on here, with the Chariot. And again, you're trying to manifest some kind of level of stability. But again, the achievements may be a little further out here, because it's back and forth kind of energy. And maybe there is some level of a goal being met, but maybe just not in the favor of what you had hoped here again, because the Four of Cups does indicate a certain level of disappointment, and definitely it's deep introspection here as well. But I don't really see hermit energy. I don't feel like there's anything along that line. It just feels like there's kind of a bit of a letdown and a drain that goes with trying to accomplish something, trying to win a situation over, trying to be on top. Somebody is, feeling a certain level of regret and hurt feelings. There's disillusionment here as well, a lot of confusion in a situation. And I even feel like, that period of uncertainty here is going to be healed at some point, but again, it's going to be following a certain level of tradition here with the temperance card. There is still something that is workable. There's still something that's, you're in the process of healing, or somebody is healing, you're both healing the situation. I feel like the person who is the King of Cups, and again, this water sign, whoever that water sign is for you, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, it feels like they are in the process of healing something. And for whatever reason, that is, where maybe it all really begins. And maybe there's something that you really can't do, or nothing that you can do in this particular, part of the relationship where there's trouble, because it feels like, you know, somebody's coming forward with some kind of I don't know, how would I put that, but there's a deflated effort. Somebody's coming through with I'm in charge of a situation, I'm in charge of a scenario, I've got things under control. And then the Four of Cups comes in to say missed opportunity or discontent, feeling ungrateful. There's resentment here. This is, where there's a little bit of that self-pity and depression, those kinds of things. It's still a passing mood, because these are small players. These are not the big cards out here. The big cards out again is that there is still a level of healing taking place. And so again, maybe you're just not able to kind of meet in this juncture, with this other person until, you're kind of both on the same sort of page to work on something. There's too much imbalance right now for there to be something to be worked on. But I do feel like there is a certain level of uh, distance because of communication issues. And again, when we've got the Seven of Cups here as well, I mean, there's a lot of, confusion on both sides of the coin here, I would say with the water sign as much as with yourself. And you could very well be this person who's the King of Wands, coming out as somebody who's a little bit more creative energy and very vivacious, that kind of thing, or a very strong leader, that kind of thing, male or female, however it relates. But again, it's still around that Seven of Cups energy, and there's still a lot of confusion there. So like I said, there's some kind of maybe big decision, I would say, that's going to be coming here with that significator card. And I feel like at that time, you or another you're going to have to make some choices here, and this could be the hard decisions. But I don't know how this will play out, because I'm seeing this as more in the immediate, but this may be further out. In May, is probably April or May. This may be how it relates right now that you're going through this situation. But either way, there's a lot of kind of wishful thinking that is taking place. And it's almost like, the head is still kind of in the clouds about a situation. And of course, there would be the trusting your instincts card here with the Temperance. I just feel like there's a lot of things that are just too confusing to really have any strong, definitive, way of making a choice. I think that you're going to have to just wait this out before you can go forward. But again, part of this feels like the imbalance is on the other side of this coin. So I don't feel like you necessarily have to do any decision making, because I feel like there is somebody's making a choice here. Somebody's making a choice, and somebody's a little unhappy with that choice. And again, going forward, it still feels like, you have to just you're vacillating here, or somebody's vacillating. Maybe both parties are vacillating on making it, or trying to work through their options. But there's just a lot of uncertainty in this read. So I'll go through the other cards here too as well. But like I said, I mean, there is still some hope, but again, this is still reading further out. And I don't know if, you know, what the timeline is on that for all of you. It's going to be different, but I still feel like there is energy around something kind of healing, as I said, but you're going to have to wait this scenario out because there's just still a lot of unclear energy. I would just go into say that it feels like it will veer in a level of success. Because again, when we get to the temperance card, that is really about like we're right beside the chariot. So there is a level of success in a certain direction, but it's also probably around some kind of middle ground, like there's a compromise or something where you have to surrender to something here, enable for something to work out and have sort of a compassionate, cooperative sort of feel. I would say that, you know, whatever the differences are, you know, don't rush. Take the time to consider the options because I don't feel like you have any direct, you know, direct route to make a solid decision. And I feel part of this isn't really in your hands anyway. But again, temperance is still, you know, feeling like somebody may even want to silence you. Like I said, there's a strong level of being locked in the mind, locked in the head, feeling like you're defeated, conquered, that kind of thing. Even though, again, we've still got energy around some level of victory or compassion or something further out and around a youthful sign. You know, the sun is still a card of optimism. And that is, you know, lots of cards still, again, of balancing things out. So I wouldn't give up hope just yet. I think further out, there may be more to be revealed, and maybe that will give you a sense of options, you know, because again, that devil to me is still in around a relationship that is someone's feeling chained by it, or somebody's feeling like there's a lot of mental effort or a lot of depression around this. There's so much energy around you know, heavy kind of thoughts and restriction with one's thoughts. So it's almost like there's toxic energy around your thoughts and someone else's, and it's just not moving forward in any specific way. There is some movement, but it's like even with the movement going forward, it's still a level of, you know, it doesn't feel good. Whatever direction is being chosen here, it doesn't feel like it's a happy, celebratory kind of choice. The sun is still a card of Leo, so there could be a Leo that's coming in here as well, but it's still a card of, you know, support and feeling supported, and starting to build. And maybe that's where things are at. Maybe someone needs to start to build something here first before you really have some balance coming in here. The other part of it is too, like I said, we've got the, let's see here, what haven't I touched on? I think I've actually kind of covered those ones. Let's just get right into the other cards that I pulled. These are actually, as I say, Archangel power deck. So what I've got here is the Five of Raphael. So there's definitely some kind of a cycle here that is in need of change. And I feel like this is, you know, whether this is something that was inevitable to happen, because everything happens for a reason, according to the card. Release regret and embrace the opportunities for happiness and search for the silver lining. So I feel like whatever the change is, it's not a change that you were happy with. So if that's the case, then it's about you stepping back, you doing your own level of healing. The other person is doing their fair share here as well. But I would say that they need to be moving in a particular direction before that healing takes place. For you, there is still a sense of you focusing on loss, and that's just where your head is right now. But this is still a card of, you know, things have turned out the way, you know, that it's expected to turn out, and this is a chance for you to embrace the changes, because this is sending you in a new direction, and this will be more of a long-term kind of more positive outcome, you know, like I said, energy. But I still feel like overall you're just suffering through with a bit of the loss. And again, there's a change. It's a change to a particular connection. So there is some sense of trying to adjust around that. And of course, with the moon, that energy is definitely, you know, a lot of uncertainty. Follow your intuition, the opportunity to improve your plans, listen to your intuition for your accurate guidance, face your fears, and grow stronger. So this is you having to do a little bit of the shadow work here, I would say, as well. The moon card is reviewing things, looking at the things that were not right in a situation, trying to find a way to adapt and be more flexible, more moderate in the situation. And again, it's making those revisions so that you can actually go forward in a situation, maybe more independently at this time. But again, it's facing your fears, and, especially in regards to a loved one. This is just going to take some time to kind of work through, because the star energy, again, it's more hope here. A dream come true, believe in yourself, the end of a difficult situation. So whatever was challenging you at this time, I feel like you have a chance to see something new around the situation. So this is a chance for you to see it in a new way, because it is an affirmative card. It does allow you to feel a lot more enthusiastic and competent and confident while you're going forward to face these new challenges. And again, it's difficulties that are fading, because the star is really about, you making a wish and having something go in your favor, but it's feeling a little bit more renewed or inspired to go forward with a more successful plan of action. King of Ariel, your plans are working out very well, professional and financial success, using your resources wisely. So despite whatever the situation is here, again, the King of Ariel could be you or another person here, but it still speaks to somebody who's of a mature energy, or certainly quite wise in the way that they operate in the world. And it definitely speaks to abundance. So there is something that is going to be working in your favor, and it does feel like somebody is going to rise to the top in some professional sphere here. So, or be very accomplished in a particular area of their life. And so this is somebody who really enjoys nature and is quite stable and accomplished, like I said. But it's also about taking a little bit of time for yourself to remember the good things that you do have going for you. The Seven of Michael, as I said, there's a better course of action available to you, because there is some, like I said, a lot of cards of restrictions. So, and being stuck in your head, that kind of thing. But working alone may not be the best answer. Review all the details. So I feel like you really need to kind of be in a place where you have to kind of move yourself into, looking at those options. Like I said, I mean, you still need to be in a place where you actually have some grasp of, how do I say, look at your security. Look at the things that create security for you, because that's where you're going to find your strength. So whether that's in connections, whether that's in activities, whether that's in reading, whether that's in, learning new information, I still feel like overall, there is some level of, sevens can be quite a magical card here as well. So something is still moving in your favor, and it's about, what are you trying to accomplish? What do you want to accomplish with a person? You can't control other people, but you can certainly take advantage and improve yourself and your point of view. And, sure, you may be going over the details and kind of trying to figure out what's going on, and maybe there is some ulterior motives at hand here, but it's still, very positive cards of trying to regain that balance again after what's happened here. So, Two of Gabriel, make bold, ambitious choices. Great progress is possible. Important relationships with people who share your vision. So, again, this is about looking for like-minded souls, people that can support you and you can partner up with, and definitely have help you to find a better outlook. So, don't go it alone is basically what the cards are saying. You have some kind of a choice to make, and that is more along your own personal direction versus a direction with someone else at this time. So the Knight of Gabriel, again, this is still a card of action and movement, things taking place. There is some action. There is something that's going forward. And maybe it's just also a reminder to you, for you to take some action, because great passion for a cause, trying to find out who you are again. Basically, you'll know what to do if you allow yourself to focus on the areas of your life where you do have some level of charisma or some enthusiasm, that kind of thing, because this is a card of speeding things up, moving in a direction that you feel like you actually have some control over. And it is something that will allow you to feel a lot more confident and a sense of adventure. But for sure, it's finding your passion for life again, despite whatever this connection was. I think that you have to take your hands off the wheel in this scenario and just kind of focus your attention in another area here, because like I said, it feels like there's some part of it here that you really just don't have control over. And I think if you just, are able to, you know, if you're able to focus more on you at this time, I think that would be to your advantage, because like I said, there is too much criticism and too much negativity, and there's maybe even a level of self-esteem issues or something. I don't know, with this depression or the four of cups. Like I said, there's something that's kind of pulling you back, and again, it's affecting your direction in life at this time. So you're holding yourself back in some way because of a connection. So anyway, something to think about anyway. Your choice. Sometimes the healing takes the time it takes. But this is, still the energy that's around you currently for those that this resonates for. So I'm going to do another card pull here as well that will relate around what's the more positive things that are coming through here. But just know that this relationship, for this period, you don't really have a lot of control over a situation. You just have to go with the flow, basically, is what I would say. Again, moderate middle road is really where things are at. So anyway, that's what I have for you. Keep moving forward. Don't give up. Like I said, there's still a direction here that can be very successful for you, and I feel like it's going to be one that draws some recognition for you. Doesn't necessarily have to be star power, but it certainly is one that allows you to feel like you are, in control of your journey, and it certainly feels like there is a lot of creativity attached to it. But again, you're sort of holding yourself back a little bit in making a choice or making a decision to go forward. That's what I have for you, Libra.